It is 7:06, and we will call the meeting to order. First is our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call.
Ms. Bolenbacher.
Here.
Ms. Capitello.
Here.
Mr. Hof.
Here.
Mr. Marks.
Here.
Mr. Oliverio.
Here.
Ms. Kopalnik.
Here.
Mr. Wozniak.
Here.
Mayor Perry, I'm here. Solicitor Corbo.
I'm here.
Engineer Keenan is not with us tonight.
Yes, here.
Is he here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you. Director Tedesco.
Here.
Chief Ford is not here, and Manager Price, you're here.
I'm here as well.
All right. We have a quorum.
All right, great. Thank you. We have our consent agenda. So we had the council meeting minutes from March 12th, the bill list from March 26th, and all of the reports on the OneDrive. So looking for a motion to approve the March 26, 2026 consent agenda, pending bill list approval by the Borough President, Manager, and Treasurer.
So
Ms. Bolenbacher.
Need a second for discussion?
moved.
Okay, Ms. McCallnick. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Since we weren't able to record that one, I was just wondering, trying to get some more detail into the minutes. Some of the things that I think were missing that we talked about, that there was the Creek Trail discussion that was missing out of the December minutes, and you had mentioned it was an oversight, and I was wondering, how we can avoid that oversight, what that oversight was, and how we can avoid that type of an oversight in the future. So I had that question: how we can avoid that oversight and what the oversight may have been. A lot of the other things that we had discussed, like the land bank and other things, probably we will go over those again because those are in full discussion. So I won't bring those things up. I did want to let the citizens know that the A-team was not funded by us, as the mayor had said, so we didn't have to go through a motion on that. That is correct.
There's no cost to the 18.
That was in the minutes.
Which is why there was no vote by council.
Right. I just wanted to make that clear for the public. So, and then there was a little bit of confusion on the whole surface, whether or not the concrete was whether the original concrete installer was going to be, I guess, approached, or was it the coating contractor? I believe that the engineer said it was the coating contractor, but I think in the minutes it says the concrete contractor. So I was just trying to make sure that the minutes are correct on that as well. So, if you have any comments on those,
I mean, for me, it wasn't the December minutes; it was the November minutes that you were referencing. Right. You mentioned December. We addressed it at the last meeting. It was administrative error. So I don't know if there's any more discussion. If anybody wants to have any more discussion about that,
we can't fix human error. I mean,
yeah,
right.
It happened.
Just asking, so we know what happened, because people talk about it being AI generated, and we missed it because it was being used. AI was being used, things like that. So
that wasn't the reason. That wasn't the reason, and we already talked about the last meeting. So,
all right,
that's what it is.
All right.
Okay. Any other discussion, comments? Okay. All right. No, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Motion passes. Okay. At this time, citizens may address the Crafton Borough Council on any issue appearing on today's agenda. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Crafton will be permitted to address the council. Comments on non-agenda items will be taken at the end of tonight's meeting. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them before the council, who may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Council has the option to respond or not at the end of the address. The solicitors are assigned timekeeper. Please state your name and physical address for the record. Is there, Mike?
I'm sorry. Nobody's on the list,
Okay. Right. Anybody online? Please raise your hand.
just us.
Oh, just us. Okay. All right, President's report. So again, as we say, for every meeting, construction projects asking for patience as we go through all of the projects. As I say, every meeting, it's going to get worse. We're starting to do more roads relative to Broadhead. And then with some other things around paving, the brick repairs, some of the other things that Larry will talk about tonight are just going to start escalating. So patience, and as we know, we get through it, and then it looks very good afterwards. So let's think about that. Right, Mayor's report, Ms. Perry.
So my only update is to let everybody know that our police department has moved into the new locker room downstairs. It's looking great. There's still some more things to be done, and we're hoping to fix up the hallway leading down there and the bathroom so it's usable, but we're making progress. Also, the evidence room, which was the old locker room, is shaping up as well. That's really about all I have tonight.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Perry. Solicitor's report.
Just real quick, there'll be a short executive session following the meeting for council to discuss personnel and collective bargaining issues. That's
Do
it.
you promise it's gonna be short?
A lot of that is based upon the participation of other members of this council. So I can only tell you what I aspire to, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. Manager's report, Mr. Price.
All right. First up on my report is the trail study. And we did meet with DCNR last week or 2 weeks ago. Or actually, it might have been before the last meeting, where we discussed with them applying for grant funds for Baker's Acres and for Clearview Trail. That would be essentially doing the improvements that are in the trail plan for Baker's Acres, which is lighting, paving the trail itself, and building a small hiking trail, and essentially possibly adding some parking at either end, and then resurfacing the Clearview Trail. And then there's also been there was a group that a person, I should say, not a group, Nancy Corbel, who was volunteering while the trail study was going on, and has since met up with some folks working with the the Crafton Heritage in town to propose signage to put along the trail, historic signage. They're collecting photos right now, and Nancy is continuing to work on her project, which was more around flora and fauna, local flora and fauna, and having signage for that. So that will be included in that grant application for DCNR. Any questions on that before I move on? Okay. Next item I have up is a seasonal pool hire list. There's a list of 2026 seasonal pool employees for the borough that the borough plans to hire on the Council OneDrive. So I'd like to get a motion to approve the 2026 seasonal employment hire list for Crafton Borough Swimming Pool as recommended by the Crafton Pool Manager.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Marks.
Second.
Mr. Hove, any questions or discussion?
Do we have everybody hired, or are there still open positions?
For the pool, we're pretty much, I think we're pretty full. We might hire a few more people going in, depending on if they have experience and, they were people that were coming back. But for the most part, you're cut off at this point. There's no real need for any more employees for the pool, so we're in good shape.
One thing I noticed in looking at the list, again, similar to last year, we have 57 people on the list, which is a lot of hires. That is a lot to operate the pool. It's 57 people, everything from the pool manager, concession, lifeguards, and the time period, because it's open 7 days a week. There is, and this is surprising, a 72% return rate.
There's
72%.
like 16 new people and everyone else was, returning.
Exactly. So that's really commendable, and it's a lot of our residents and their kids that are part of the pool. So it's really cool how we've been able to sustain it in a market that's extremely competitive, which is great. All right.
Yep. Yeah, most municipalities have challenges, and we have been really lucky to not have too many challenges in that area.
Yep. All right. We have a motion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
The next item on the list is something that we do every 3 years or so, and that is the Allegheny County Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Program that are funded by HUD. This is a 3-year program beginning July 2027 and ending June 30th, 2030. So this is essentially just us opting in to their program so that we can have availability of the funds that they do. We get grants through the COG typically for CDBG funds. We have money right now to do sidewalks down on Duncan, and that should be moving forward at some point soon. So, and this is also if we have to demo houses, this is where we typically get funds to do that. So with that, I'd like a motion to approve Resolution 2026-06, opting Crafton Borough into the county's HUD-sponsored CDBG and home investment programs for fiscal years starting July 2027.
Okay, Ms. Bolenbacher.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Compitello. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. We have not discussed this in prior meetings, have we, within this? So we haven't discussed this. So this is a situation where a motion is coming to us to vote on without us having a discussion period, and for the public not to hear us discuss this motion. And doesn't seem to be like a big rush for this. We're looking at the 27 year. So I would like that we table this until we can actually discuss it. I know we do it every 3 years, but things can change. Not everybody on the council or the same people on the council. So I would like to see it being tabled until we could have a discussion on it and see if there's changes from last time to this time or whatever. So we all know what we're voting on in this motion. Because it's just coming up without discussion. So,
does anybody want to pull their motions? Seeing none?
Well,
So
so
we're just
quick question, like if we pass this resolution, given it doesn't actually enter us, program year doesn't go active until whenever, we could technically pass it tonight and then like scratch it next meeting if we had to, right? Could would we be able to back
it's a
out of it if?
resolution, so we would have to.
You'd have to pass another resolution.
Sure, that just,
Yeah,
No
I'm
offense.
not, and maybe Jim knows what the deadline is to submit this. I don't know if that will have passed by the next meeting or not, but I do know that there's a quicker turnaround than you would expect on submitting this back to the county.
I don't know the date, but this is one of those things that most municipalities actually pass as a consent agenda, as part of a consent agenda. It's pretty perfunctory. It doesn't cost us a thing to opt into this, doesn't cost us a thing to opt out of it. It just helps us get funding down the road because we're a part of this. But I don't know the date in front of me of when it's due. I can look it up and see if I can find it in the meantime.
Also assists with just funds for the county in general. And there's very limited items that the borough would probably qualify for through this CDBG grant, which Jim mentioned the demolition grants, which usually are through the COGS. And then oftentimes you can use funds to make infrastructure accessible, ramps, sidewalks, that sort of things.
So opting
Yeah.
is to know there's no cost to us opting in. It's just saying we have the opportunity to these grants if we want them down the road, correct?
Correct. That's exactly right.
So
We have talked
the
about this
opportunity
just
to
about.
apply for them, is that correct?
You
No.
still would have to apply for the grants.
There you
You would.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have talked about this, pretty much on an annual basis. We do use these funds regularly for things. Like right now, we received funding, I think, last year, which Jim mentioned we're gonna be using shortly, we're using this year to fix sidewalks on Duncan Avenue.
So this was available to all of council on the OneDrive. So all the information was out there on the OneDrive. Any further discussion? Question?
Yeah, my only point is that when things show up on a motion, I really think things should be discussed, like the meeting beforehand, before we actually put it to motion, so that we can openly discuss it in front of the public. Unless we, because the public doesn't have access to the OneDrive. That's what I'm not saying I'm for or against it. What I'm saying is that the process of having something on the agenda as a motion, I think deserves to have a discussion, maybe the meeting before, so that people could hear us discuss it and find out about it.
Good.
So
Every motion made has a discussion period allowed. So is there a discussion tonight?
correct.
Yeah, I tried to go closer, that's all.
Just move it closer.
Yeah.
Every motion that's made has a period for discussion, at that meeting. So is there discussion tonight about this?
I think the ask is, I know that like other councils like Ingram's and whatever will put things on the agenda. Like they have a discussion meeting and then a voting meeting. Yeah. So like you bring all the items you want to talk about. We talk about them. We give us and the community 2 weeks to chew on it. And then we come back and vote. Right. And then like that gives the community time to hear us talk. And then they get to get up and reform opinions. And then the vote happens. So it gives everybody a digestion period essentially for things. And I don't disagree with that. I don't say we have to follow something as strict as that, but I hear you, Greg. Like if it'd be nice if we could prime anything onto the agenda saying for discussion, up for vote next meeting, and then everyone can chew on it. But as far as like this motion, I'm fine with moving forward with it.
Yeah, because some people might be looking at the minutes or at this video tomorrow, and they might want to call one of us and say, what's that about? And if it's already voted on, then then their opinion doesn't really mean anything. So I just think it's good practice to allow us to discuss things in front of the public, so that then the public has a chance to call us. We're representing them, so they have a chance to call us and ask us, tell us how they feel, how it's going to impact them or whatever. And I don't mean just this. I just mean motions in general. So that's my only reason for asking that we table this, just to maybe get that kind of a process in place.
All right, you've explained that. Thank you. All right, we'll go to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay,
I was an aye.
I didn't know whether we were gonna abstain.
No,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I can, let me do this real quick too. Oh shoot, I lost it now. I'm going to read, just so everybody has this knowledge too, in case anybody's asked. Your community's participation is important to the county since it helps determine the annual county allocation. As more municipalities participate, funding is increased, which can result in more projects for your community's benefit. There are many benefits to citizens and businesses of your community by choosing opt-in and participate in the county CDBG home program. And then it goes on, if your municipality decides to opt out for these 3 years, the county's annual federal allocations will be reduced. There are also numerous consequences to your community when not participating in the program. In addition to not being eligible to submit and receive CDBG funding for projects such as those listed above, citizens in your municipality will not be eligible to apply for Allegheny County Home Loan Program, a low interest home improvement program, or any future home mortgage or down payment assistance programs. Local nonprofit agencies would not be eligible for CDBG funds for programs for the elderly and special needs residents of the municipality. Additionally, county operated business loan programs, which create and retain local jobs, could not be offered to businesses in your municipality. So if anybody is asked, you have a little more information about why we encourage people to do it and why the county is encouraging people to do it. And I can't find a date. So I'm glad you guys passed it today, but I don't actually know when a cutoff date would be. So just wanted to give everybody that update so we could get you guys a little additional information. Now moving forward, 30 Elmwood demolition process. I don't have any significant updates on that. The emergency snowstorm response. I'm still working on getting a letter set up to ask them to compensate us for the costs related to the salt supply. We have received a few more shipments of salt, but we still have not received our entire last order, which was for 250 tons. I think we've received now about 150 of those 250 tons. And in the reports drive, I just put it in. I thought I put it actually in on Monday, but I just put it in a moment ago, is the cost report for the snowstorm. And I'm going to share my screen very quickly, since I did not put it. What's
That was in, oh, yeah. Yeah, that was
Oh,
in there Tuesday.
okay. I thought I had put it in,
Yeah.
but I didn't see it when I went and looked. Are
Didn't
you
see
seeing
it twice.
are you seeing this memo on the screen now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is just an estimate of the cost at this point. Public Works overtime was around $20,000. Police wage overtime was around 15,000. Salt consumed was around 20,000 or 200 tons. Fuel expenditures went up by about $1,500. Vehicle maintenance repairs, about $9,000. Equipment repairs, a little over $11,000. And equipment rentals, estimated to be about $7,500. And I might be wrong. I don't know. Larry, did you ever get an estimate of a better estimate on that final cost?
Not at this time, no, not yet.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure. So we're looking at about $83,000 currently on the cost of that storm. Any questions on that? Okay. If there's no questions, then that concludes my report.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Price. Engineers report, Mr. Keenan.
Hey, good evening. First item on the engineers report is the Broadhead Sewer Separation Project. And the update is that the sewer construction is ongoing on Broadhead and on Park Street. Coulter Street has about 2 weeks left on curb and sidewalk work. And update that a second crew may start on concrete restoration, bringing the total amount of crews to 4 for this project. No confirmation if that has happened yet, but it was brought to our attention. Closure of the trail portion is still in effect until the final restoration takes place. The expected project completion is still slated for October this year, 2026. Milling and paving is expected to begin end of April, and weekly contractor meetings and updates to the Borough construction webpage are ongoing. Next is a motion relating to the trail restoration that was mentioned in previous meetings, that the idea was to pave it, the trail portion from Crafton Boulevard down to, not all the way down, but just covering the Broadhead Sewer Project portion. And with that, the motion is to proceed with restoring the Crafton Trail portion of the Broadhead Sewer Project with asphalt according to the borough paving specifications at the cost of $45,000 as estimated by Gateway Engineers. And I'd just like to add that this is an approximate cost, and we've been trying to reach out to the contractor to confirm, and that this number is based off the unit bid item prices that we received for the project. But based off of that, it is estimated at $45,000. Do we need to amend the motion, since it's an estimate and this number may change, like an up to X amount or something? Yeah,
That's what I was
okay.
thinking. So,
I'd say, I mean, I could
you
make,
can make the motion.
yeah, sure. I'll make a motion to proceed with restoring the Crafton Trail portion of the Broadhead Sewer Project with asphalt according to the borough paving specifications at the cost not to exceed $45,000 as estimated by Gateway Engineers.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Marks made that motion. Sorry, I'm writing. Ms. Compitello, second. Any questions or discussion?
I would suggest, since it was an estimate of $45,000, I would suggest not to exceed $50,000, so you give a little wiggle room, because if it comes in at 46,000, then we have to get a new motion. I would just make it not to exceed $50,000, so we have a little wiggle room.
How much was earmarked for this? I don't recall off the top of my head.
At the last
This is
meeting.
all- This is all part of the Broadhead project, and it'll be covered by grant funds.
Mhm. Are the grant funds, just because I can't recall, are they 100, are they 50%? What's the match?
There's no match because we have, they match each other.
I think last time we had discussed 35 to 45 was at the last meeting for this project.
When will we know more specifically what the cost will be?
As soon as we hear back from the contractor, we've been, like I said, we've been trying to reach out to them all week and we have not gotten an answer back yet. But I'd like to think by as soon as possible.
It's not inspiring confidence, and I don't know. I'm okay with sticking with 45 unless this is urgent. Is it urgent that we pass something higher tonight, and then if they come back a grand, if they come $1 over, or do you need to have the approval now, or can it wait for 2 weeks? Given how responsive they've been, I would think we don't have to rush tonight to give them more wiggle room, since they won't rush to give us a response.
And they gave us a range of 35 to 45. 45 was the top of the range, so I would
It
hope
was
that
an estimate
the estimate
last
was,
meeting when we
yeah.
discussed it, and then it
So-
went out, yeah.
we would hope that it would be under 45, not over 45.
What's the contracting mechanism? Is this a change work order to an existing contract?
Yes.
Other discussion?
No discussion. I agree with how Justin phrased that. I think,
Yeah, that's what the.
yeah, no, I mean, I agree with the
Conversation.
leave it there. Yes, the discussion, that I agree with that. Just leaving it at 45.
Yeah, I honestly, I'd be okay with not passing this and just waiting for the estimate too, if we think that it's going to be higher than that. But I'm okay with approving it so that it can move faster. I just don't know that it's going to move. I don't know that it's going to get held up on our approval. So
I'd prefer that we not table it, because we brought this up at the last meeting with that range. And if they go out to pave in the next couple weeks, because the plant's open, I'd like to make sure that it gets paved in that first round if possible. But we
People
can
will
live with the $45,000 limit.
They're going to start to go on the trail.
oh yeah, listen, I want the trail paved as quick as possible too, like for safety reasons and whatever.
Yeah.
But or restored, however we're framing this. But yeah, that's fine. I'd say let's just go ahead and move forward with the vote.
All right, I'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Larry, can you give an update on Warren too?
Warren Street,
Yes.
that's slated to be, that's supposed to be getting some pavement restoration upcoming. You know, the concrete, the sidewalks and the curbs have been placed, the sewer is in, and the next step is to really just start restoration with the street. That'll probably come up next month.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you. Moving on is the Pershing Street Sewer Project. The update here still remains the same, as we are still waiting on the city to approve resolution for this project. Next is a C20 sewer separation. A punch walk was done on the 12th, and a list of some items was being prepared to be sent to the contractor to take care of. That list was sent out today, and no response yet from the contractor. Uh, Next is the DPW building. Construction is ongoing. People's Gas was out there to rebuild their meter on the 24th. We were expecting to have heat on in the building a week ago, but turns out that the meter had a malfunction on the outlet portion and they had to come back out and rebuild it. But I received word today that that was taken care of and that heat is now up and running inside the building, which is paramount for further construction. The drywall canal will be installed, as well as other finishing touches. But building inspections are also underway that are being done by Roslyn Farms building inspector, and we are hoping to have construction done by National Public Works Week, which is May 17th through the 23rd. I also happy to report that we did receive our grant funding for this from the ACED, and that is now in Crafton's hands. Next is the 2026 Crafton sewer system repairs, operations and maintenance. The update is that the award documents were sent to the contractors. Work is expected to begin soon. We have to set up a pre-con meeting yet. Today I did receive the executed contract documents for contract A. Reminder that this is a two-contract project, A and B, one for excavation repairs and one for manhole-to-manhole lining repairs. And next is Noble and Linwood Parks. This is a $500,000 project budget, $250,000 grant funding, and a $250,000 match with the borough. The update is that the draft park layouts and budget estimates have been completed and are near finalization. I have some layouts to show you today where we are at. Before I go to the motion here, let me just pull up each park and I will go through a description of the improvements that are being proposed and we can discuss if needed. Bear with me here. I'll see my screen here.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. First is Linwood Park.
Get rid of it.
Are we good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay. All right. So here's Linwood Park here, and I just want to go over the basis of these improvements are stemmed from the Crafton Parks Master Plan, as well as the requirements from the grant, which include primarily ADA improvements, as well as lighting to the parks. Here in Linwood, you can see up by the alleyway, we have a proposed 3-space parking lot area that includes an ADA space, as well as some new sidewalk and a ramp that's ADA accessible that will connect to the existing sidewalk here. And throughout the park, there is some proposed lighting, pedestrian lighting, as well as some court lighting. As you can see, the basketball court up here will get new markings for basketball, pickleball. There's a proposed lounge area here with a ADA accessible table and chairs. There's an ADA accessible seasonal bathroom location. In the auxiliary court, there's proposed hopscotch, cornhole, foursquare. There's also some benching that was asked for. There's benching proposed in the main court along the sidewalk here. And in the auxiliary court, there's also a new picnic table in the playground area that will be placed on the existing brick pad. Will double as benching and seating for there. An ADA swing is proposed that will take place in the existing one. And also along the road here is a new park sign paired up with a DCR grant funding sign that is required. And there is some improvements to the handrails here that will be repainting. But that basically sums up Linwood Park. Over here on the right is the layout and estimate of the improvements and what we're looking at for as a total at this time for this. Um, Anyone have any questions on what they see or on this park before I go to Noble?
The seasonal portable restroom, is that a rental?
Correct, yeah. It could be a rental and or we could purchase our own porta-john and just pay to have it serviced a month, each month. But that's the
What
idea.
is, Larry, is the cost of that just a concrete pad right there? Is that all really for this purposes is just putting a concrete pad right there?
It's actually a gravel pad, gravel base, just
Okay.
6-inch excavation with some stone compacted down, help with drainage and be firm enough to support the structure.
So that's to clarify that that's the pad, but it's not the portable structure itself.
No, those are two separate items.
They are two separate items, but the restroom and the pad are both included in the estimate.
Item 13 is the rental. Would that be for
Correct.
a 1 year? Is that a
7
contract
months.
that would be annual?
7 months. Yeah, that's the estimated 7 months.
I would think
And
we want to
Let's
keep that out
Um,
of this grant or out of this project cost. We should do that separately, I would think.
Yeah, there was some discussion at the infrastructure committee about whether that was something we wanted to simply provide the opportunity for in the future versus something that we want right now.
Mhm.
I don't have a solid answer for that, so interested in hearing from others. That was one of the larger kind of long-term items listed in the Parks Master Plan, that a restroom there would be a good thing to have eventually, but a portable restroom does bring challenges. And this is a fairly residential area, so I'm not sure if that's something that we all want to prioritize right now. But just wanted to clarify that, so it is for, everyone's attention to consider.
And when we had the public process, the folks that lived actually all around there, they were in favor of definitely more benches, was a big thing. Benches park, because I think there's just the one on the side. And that's it. That's all you can sit. So if you have kids that are going there, you can't really sit anywhere. That was one thing. The lighting, they understood if there was some directional lighting, that would be okay. They weren't super in favor of lighting. And any noise mitigation. I think in infrastructure, specifically with bathrooms, those can create crime areas in terms of drugs usage and some other things where you have people that can go in and do things. So I think thinking about bathrooms and if our residents are going to these, if they have to use the restroom, can they go home? Is it close? Is it something? But a continual maintenance cost and potentially having some crime associated with those might be wise not to do them.
Yeah, I have a question, Larry. Also, is that's a portable structure. So is that
Mhm.
come under the grant, being that it's not a fixed structure?
It's an improvement to the park, and that's so the grant is kind of loose with what is included. It says park improvements. It stresses that, and it also stresses ADA accessibility. And this being an ADA accessible facility, I think it would work.
And we have a match portion too, so it could just fit under our match.
Right.
But I know when we did the public meeting where we got input on this, we showed like 3 options per park, right? There was like the minimum, there was the like Cadillac, and then there was the like Cadillac plus what we could do in 5 years or whatever, according to the plan. Where does this estimate you're showing us tonight land in those ratings?
Sure. So this is really joined up with the other park, Noble. As I mentioned, this project combined has a $500,000 budget to it. And what I took was the minimum plus some other desired features like benches, additional lighting, and came to that conclusion with what you see here, and when I get to Noble, I'll explain the improvements there. But the total here plus the total for Noble Park, you'll see if you add them up, comes under 500,000. So basically, these are like the max. It's a revised max version of the park.
Yeah, sure, it's
But-
minimum plus what
but-
the feedback we got.
Correct.
Yeah, it's barely above minimum because the maximum from the parks plan is like millions of dollars. So this is just barely above the minimum.
Yep.
One thing I had a question on was the parking spaces, because I think just grass back there now. There isn't an area for parking.
You can't park back there to the.
Yeah. And we're
Right.
adding parking, so is that a big thing that we need versus other things within the park? Because you can park around on the streets, right, that are around there. You're walking.
I think that, and I'll let Jim weigh in, but I believe that was one of the requirements of the grant.
Because of ADA.
Yeah,
Let's say, you think about accessibility anyways, like they can't park on Linwood and then get into the park from Linwood. They'd have to go all the way out into the street. There's no sidewalk around that curve. They'd have
That's
to
true.
push them up
For
a
the
hill.
AV, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, that's true.
even ADA grant requirements aside, like I think we would need it to make it accessible anyways.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think overall, these are a good step forward. They are, a lot of fairly basic but important upgrades. Mostly, kind of the minimums that are required in order to use this grant and improve a little bit of overall safety and accessibility and, spruce it up a little bit. It's not a major change to the park. This was revised slightly to reflect some of the things that the public meeting, expressed more versus less interest in. I know we did have discussion at the infrastructure meeting about feedback about the lights and ensuring that those were, sized and spec'd out and selected to not be, we're not talking about floodlights here. We're talking about, very respectful levels of lights and also lighting that would turn off at night. That would, not be 24 hours and not be directed into any homes.
And if I recall, they're actually, the plan is that they will really only be on when they're being used.
So it'll be like button activated or motion activated.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, my only real comment here is I'm not particularly convinced that the portable restroom is the right thing at this time, at this location.
I mean, the portable restroom is also a two-way door, right? We're renting it month to month. We put it in the grant, we get it, there's a problem, we just don't renew it next month and let it go.
I'm not. And, I don't want to downplay the need for accessibility, but I'm not aware of any request for that having ever come in. I think that was more something that came from overall park planning practices rather than something that there was any particular request for a need in this community at that location.
Did we ask anybody with a disability about it though? I mean, people who it's easy for them to get to and from the park clearly aren't gonna have an issue, but did we ask anybody with a disability if it's important to them? I mean, I'm more with it's portable, put it in. If it doesn't work, get rid of it.
And either way, we're not,
Certainly viable.
at this point, we're not even approving this specific plan, so.
We're just
No,
approving, the motion is gonna be for finalizing the drawings.
Right, and he also has the other one to share still. So, yeah, we don't need to take that any further. I just wanted to kind of give some context about what the committee had discussed up to this point.
Right, and another reason to have that restroom pad is gravel. If it doesn't end up working out well, it's not something permanent like a concrete pad. You can just, remove the structure and restore the ground as needed. But
Okay.
any
All right, let's see Noble, Larry.
okay, hold on one second, please. One second.
Yeah, it looks good on this side.
Maximum screen. Okay. So here is Noble Park's proposed layout plan here. Again, as I mentioned, the priority is, or one of the priorities is ADA accessibility for the parks, as well as lighting. And that's, for the most part, that's what's going on in Noble here. We are proposing new ADA ramps along Noble here and at Sydney Street, where they'll be paired up with new revised crosswalk markings. We're also proposing 2 ADA parking spaces on Sydney. And over here at the courts, we are proposing new basketball and pickleball markings, as well as there's a location for another ADA restroom, the gravel pad. There is some benches proposed in the court areas, and there will be a mix of lighting between pedestrian lighting along the sidewalks here, as you can see. And there's also some court lighting being proposed as well. But uh, I do want to update that can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This portion here of the sidewalk, this will actually not be demo. This will remain. I wanted to get confirmation from Public Works on the slope here, and we do meet the slope requirements for ADA. So this will actually be existing and not be removed and replaced. So that little portion will go back into the budget. But I just got that information yesterday, so I wasn't able to update this. But other than that, there's also a call out here for a mural. That was one of the desired items in the Master Parks plan. A mural on the walls here that are separating the courts. But other than that, that's really it. There's an ADA swing proposed here as well. Um, but there's some concrete to be replaced as well to accommodate the new conduit for the electrical here and here. Um, and the old ADA ramp up here at the Sydney Noble intersection will get replaced, and a new one will be built adjacent to it for the new alignment of the crosswalk that will go straight across instead of diagonal as it is now. And finally, there is a DCR and Noble Park combination sign being proposed here at the front for recognition. Um, but that's really it. Questions, comments on Noble?
This is Greg. I was wondering, on the lighting, it's hard to see from here, but
Yeah,
are those string lights or are those
no,
light
no,
standards?
no. These are not string lights. What you see here, the line between the lights is the conduit, the electrical conduit that will power and energize the lights. The little squares are for pedestrian lighting, as you can see the call out here.
Right.
And at the court, you see these 4 court style lights that are being proposed here. So no
Do you-
string lights.
That seems like a pretty long walkway from here, for 3 pedestrian lights. Are we gonna have any, dark spots between those lights?
That's
On the-
still
the
that's
long
still
walk.
be that's still be to be determined. Lighting was not I was unable to determine the lighting for this. That's outside my realm. But I mean that's something you want to consider. We can make that a point when we go to finalize these here. Are we looking to just add like spots of light here, or are we trying to make sure that every square foot of the walkway has light touching it?
I would think for safety, you would probably want, that's a walkway. I don't think you'd want dark spots. Both safety as far as being in the light and also tripping and things like that. But maybe we could have I mean, we could estimate how many more light standards we would need and by design, what the coverage would be. I just don't know that I'm only asking this that if our estimate is underestimating the amount of light standards we may need.
Do we have any lights over there right now?
I don't think so. I'm not sure though. I shouldn't even answer that.
There are the apartment buildings too, we've got to be conscious of that are right next to there.
Mhm.
So if we have lighting, that could shine into people's.
Yeah, we'd have to be
windows and
really
stuff.
select
Yeah.
what kind of fixture would be best.
Do we close
Right.
that at night?
Sorry, what?
It
Yep.
it is closed.
That part closes at dusk, yeah.
Right.
So there wouldn't be a reason anybody should be walking right there.
And it ends up being like an improvement over what we have. That's not to say that we couldn't do more. And who knows, maybe if we skip the toilets and don't pour this new concrete pad, maybe we'll find a couple $1,000 to do more lights.
Right. Right.
Larry, will there be any interruption to the trees in that park?
There isn't anything that I saw. As you can see here along the right side, there are some, if you can tell, there are some trees here, but the lights are proposed. The lights were placed in between them, and the conduit is to be placed as close to the cords as possible. But as far as that goes, there should, not to my knowledge, there should be any disruptions to any other trees, any trees.
I know we talked at the public meeting about the potential of a concrete promenade and a bunch of other things. And I think even with those options, we were saying the trees were gonna be in place, even though.
That was one of my design focuses, was to avoid any tree removal and to minimize any disruptions to them.
As Mike knows, it's the Shade Tree Commission's focused on those trees. There, and especially anytime you dig up the earth, it disrupts trees and potentially can kill them in a few years. So, okay. Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, if the mural can happen, I think that would be awesome, so.
Is that in the cost? I think I
Yeah.
saw it in there. Yeah.
Number 16.
Yep. Ooh. Right. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, now there is a motion on the agenda. My comment when I had this agenda was that I think this is the first time we're seeing this final drawing, so it's up to the rest of council whether we want to move forward with a motion or absorb some of the items and then come back to our next meeting for the motion.
I'm gonna advise if we do that, which that's fine. I think we should have a motion then just when we go out to bid. So we'll move forward with final design and then we'll ask for a motion when we actually go out to bid. Which I think we need to do, if I'm remembering correctly, at the last meeting in April, is that right? Larry?
What's that?
That when do we need a motion to actually go out to bid? Like, are we planning to go out to bid the first week in May? Is that right from a timeline perspective?
Yeah, the idea was to get council approval to go out to bid the last meeting in April and then go out to bid first week in May.
Right. So we don't really need approval for this step, but we will need approval to go out to bid. So you guys can hold that and we'll just get the drawings, make those adjustments, and we'll get the drawings finalized and all the bid specs finalized and everything. And then at that meeting, we'll go out to bid. And we can review any changes that we've made at the next meeting.
Right.
This grant does expire this year, so we need to use these funds. We have been asking to kind of get this moving, and we've had so many other projects. It has delayed a bit, but we do need to get this under construction soon. I honestly am apathetic about whether we pass a motion or not, because we really would only be voting for passing a motion for them to continue with gathering final drawings for us to then review. But either way, I would like for the drawings in their draft version as they are now to be shared with all of council for closer review.
And I'd say not only the drawings as they are, but I think it might be interesting for the rest of council to see the options that we saw at that public meeting. So just to see like some of the other line items and the costs and whatever, right? If folks decide they don't want toilets and they want more lights, or if they decide, maybe we should not do the mural and spend $10,000 on some other proposed thing. I think it would help just to see the options. I'm not proposing that we change. I think
We
as
can-
they are fine, but
I would be fine with that. Let's share all of those. They were already shared publicly and they should be, and they should have already been shared with council. Those are all building off of the ideas in the Parks Master Plan. I do want to caution council, we need to pick something and do it quickly.
Mhm.
I think sharing everything now, making it available, I believe it's on the website, but I'm not sure, but we can discuss or we have the next meeting and then we also have the end of the month for April. So that should give sufficient time. This project, as we know, has been 4 years
Or more.
or more.
let's say it was something I
More
voted
than
on
that,
in my
yeah. Yeah, before
first
we
couple
were
of
even
last
on.
term.
And then we did vote on this item to move forward with it, but it's been in the works for a very long time. Okay, anything else?
I was doing, is there a cost in this finalizing of the drawings, or is this part of staff, incorporated into what the staff is doing?
Yeah.
Staff time. So
Staff time,
Larry,
okay.
our engineer, has been doing all of this.
Okay, I just.
That is
wanted-
within his skill set, so.
Cool.
All right, thanks, everyone. Larry? Ewing Road.
Okay, moving on to Ewing Road. It's the reminder that this project is to repair the immediate areas of road subsidence that have occurred. And right now, the project is currently still out to bid. We'll be opening those bids on April 2nd, with the anticipation that council will award it on April 9th, and with the notice to proceed on April 27th. Next is the Crafton Boulevard improvements. This is based off of the LSA grant that was awarded to us at $120,000, no match, and it includes improvements that include new lighting, additional trees, and an EV charging station in the elementary school parking lot. The project bids did come in, and we only received 2 bids for this. One was at $149,235,000, and the other one was for $221,000. And right now, we were reviewing the bid tabulations to determine what to include and to leave out. But with some further discussion with Gateway and internally, we had decided that we were going to put together a bid rejection letter due to these bids coming much higher than anticipated. To have on here discuss. Jim, if there was anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, I'll throw out a couple things. So basically there's 3 parts to this project. One is planting trees, which Public Works can do. The other is installing an EV charger, which the charger itself should only cost around $5,000. And then we have to build a concrete pad and hire an electrician. So, and then the last thing is installing 4 new streetlights on Crafton Boulevard. And the bids came back ridiculous, frankly, because I don't know if the bidders fully understood the project, or what. We're not really sure why they came back so high. So we're going to actually break up the project into 3 pieces, have Public Works do the planting, look at getting an electrician to work with us to do the installation of the EV chargers, and then put the lights out to bid because they'll be over $20,000. The other 2 pieces will be well below that amount, and we'll save a significant portion of money by doing it like this. We will have to pay to create new bid specs for just the 4 lights and whatnot, but that will be far less than $30,000 out of our pocket to make this project happen based on our grant. So we're really just kind of scrapping this first round, rejecting the bids, and moving forward kind of piecemeal.
Can we use any of that grant funding to cover the costs for an electrician or for any of the effort of Public Works?
Absolutely.
We had always assumed that the project we put together here was not even going to use the $120,000. We'd be leaving some of it on the table. Can we use any of that grant for for the electrician or for Public Works time?
Yes, absolutely. And fully plan to. I mean, it'll all be covered. Everything that we do will be covered. Even Public Works time, we will bill to the grant.
Yeah. Because tree planting and EV station plus 4 lights, no way should be 200,000 or 149. Okay.
Okay. All right, moving on. The next item is the bathhouse floor. And the update here is that the new floor coating will be installed prior to the 2026 season. And with that, we are pursuing compensation from the previous contractor. Want to state that this is the floor coating contractor, not the concrete contractor. That was done by the general contractor. I did receive some phone calls from this contractor, and they are willing to come out and take a look at the floor at its current state. It's just part of the process if we want to pursue compensation from them. Right now, that is scheduled for next Friday, the 3rd at 10 a.m. So I'll report at the next meeting the result of that. Next is the storm detention cleanout. This is the underground detention system across from elementary school underneath the parking lot. That's been there for 5 years, and part of the operations and maintenance is to clean this out. Which has not been done yet. I did reach out to some contractors for this work, and we did receive 3 quotes. I'm still reviewing them. Each one is different in its own nature. Each one has different notes, different details, and want to reach out to them, each contractor, and see what their schedules are before making a decision. But looking to do that soon, and hopefully have a decision made by the next meeting. Next is the Crafton Elementary Boulevard Streetscaping Project, which references a $1.39 million grant that we received. Planning will begin with the school in the city of Pittsburgh this summer, with construction planned for next year, 2027. The 2026 road paving and brick plan priority, 2026 Brick Street Repair Project. We are scheduling a pre-construction meeting with the awarded contractor, Salante Construction, as work will begin next month in April. A reminder that this project involves priority areas, including Brick Street, curbs, infrastructure, and concrete header repairs. And the impacted streets are included below, which include Clearview Avenue, the Middle Street intersection, and 3 other nearby areas along Clearview. North Grandview Avenue in front of addresses number 8 and number 10. Bar Avenue around the manhole in front of address 1769 Bar. And Belvedere in front of address 82 Belvedere. The road paving for this year as part of the Broadhead Sewer Separation Project includes Crafton Boulevard between Broadhead and the trail entrance, Broadhead Avenue, Orange Street, Park Street, Coulter, Cornell North Linwood will receive brick trench repair, Rebecca Street, North Emily Street, and Belvedere. And the last item is the permit applications, which are the newly received permit applications for street utility work here in the borough. And I'm reporting that none were received during this time. That concludes the engineer's report. If there are any other questions or comments on anything.
No, thanks, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Is audio okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are no audio issues.
I looked at the clock, it isn't correct, thinking that it came in just now, when it actually came in an hour ago,
We
sorry.
need to fix that clock. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keenan, Community and Economic Development Director's report. Mr. Tedesco.
Okay, I will try to be as succinct as possible. First item on the list is an update on 82 Belvedere conservatorship conversation and how it has evolved. As you recall, we've had some great conversations over the course of the past now 3 council meetings. Because we're being recorded tonight, let me briefly summarize where we came from. We established a committee with 2 of the neighbors and an expert flipper to evaluate bids, initial bids as they came in over the course of, we went out pre-Christmas, and it was about a couple of months of negotiating with those proposals. The proposals came in low. We got 2 proposals, one at $12,000 and one at $20,000. We made every effort to negotiate with the proposal at $20,000. And in the end, during a council meeting, the first council meeting in February, we discussed three alternatives. Whereby alternative one was run with the $20,000 proposal. Alternative two was let's post this property to the MLS and market it to a broader group of possible bidders. And then alternative three was to do it ourselves, to improve the property ourselves and then sell it. We chose alternative two to post it to the MLS, which took place roughly 3 weeks later. And it was on the MLS for all of about 5.5 days because we were flooded with offers. To the tune of 13 offers, the highest one being $67,500 and the lowest one being $12,000. So we got a lot of offers. At the last council meeting, we discussed the strategy trying to move forward and selecting an offer. So Steve wrote an excellent purchase and sale agreement for the property with clawbacks involved that protect us if the purchaser does not perform. I circulated that draft contract to the top 6 offerers. And as expected, 4 out of the 6 folks dropped off. They got scared of the contract because it was new. They're used to the standard realtors contracts, all these things. So now there's 2 left, and we chose, we're starting to talk to the one that was most responsible and gave the most, the broadest level of response for scope of improvements, and he also provided a narrative. And that offer came in at $61,000. He is a local person. He owns a business in town, Mr. Property on Noble Avenue. So this is a local business owner. His name is Omar. He is very sophisticated, quite entrepreneurial, good person. And interestingly, he was going to be the contractor on 2 other offers that were in the mix as well. So what we're getting is the not marked up rate for direct to market, just dealing with the contractor flipping this house. So that's good news. We walked through it again. It was yesterday afternoon, so we can take a really close look. Our next step is to kick around the contract. They may propose some red lines in there for the draft agreement. We have a court date on April 21st, which leaves 1 council meeting between now and the 21st to see if we can get this contract executed. It's going to be a little tight. I don't know if it's the end of the world or not if we don't by the court date. I think even if we're 90% there and we can report that to the judge and
yeah, it will not be the end of the world. It's just the timing is just convenient at this point. Yeah.
Yes. So we're working with Mr. Property, Omar, to see if we can get to a place of agreement, and then we'll bring the contract to council for consideration. Any questions on Belvedere? Check. Item number B. Tricog Land Bank, as we've discussed for now 3 meetings in a row. This is the 3rd meeting. We whittled down a list of proposed properties for Tricog Land Bank's further diligence. They initially submitted, it was 9 or 12 properties, Jim, somewhere in there. And we brought it down to 5 properties that we submitted to them. If I was really thinking, I would pull up the list on the screen so everybody can see it, but we've reviewed it for a couple of meetings, so it is indeed in the minutes. And they will do further diligence and let us know if they will actively pursue any or all of those properties. So we will get plenty of notification on that. And when we get the notification, we can decide whether or not we should advise them to proceed or not at that point. Okay, number C, last one. Okay, so this is kind of a fresh update. As everybody recalls, council passed a updated rental inspection ordinance last year. I believe it was around June. Whereby the borough is responsible to inspect for fire safety and broader general public safety reasons, all of the rental units in town on a 3-year rotating basis. The old system was, it was the responsibility of the landlords to notify us for inspections. And because of that, a lot of inspections just simply did not happen because landlords didn't notify us. So we had no idea. So this flips the script. The onus is on us to contact the landlords and say, hey, we're gonna come do an inspection every 3 years. DJ and our building inspector is actively managing the process. After the ordinance was passed, I believe it was October. Starting in October, we sent three different rounds of letters to all landlords within the borough. First one went out in October, notifying them that they have to register with the borough. It's free, your property, and we also notified them of the new ordinance in place, the new law in place, and what that means for them. The first round of letters was just south of 600 letters, which means there are roughly 600 landlords in the borough representing roughly 1,800 units of rentals within the borough. We sent out another round, I believe it was prior to Christmas, and then another round in January. So 3 rounds. 197 of those landlords have yet to register. So Steve, once again, has worked his magic and crafted a formal, very legal notice of violation letter to the remaining 197 unregistered landlords. And they will now be subject to a $10 registration on our website on account of all of our staff time and postage and all those fun things that we're spending on these guys trying to, spend 5 minutes to register with the borough for rental inspections. So that will go out probably next week. And I'm really looking forward to some folks coming in and expressing their opinions on that when they get the letters. And we will treat everybody equally, from the largest property owners to the duplex owner who's just looking to, rent out the side of their house. So we will move forward with that process. If they don't register, then it's a court date and it becomes, more process. It's just more process. So the first hard letter is going out likely next week. And the first roughly 600 units, DJ has a plan to inspect this year. So it's moving. It's moving. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. All right, our standing committee reports. Were you saying something? No.
I said, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Finance, Administration, Sustainability, Mr. Hope.
Thank you. The Finance Committee met since our last council meeting. We are approaching the end of the first quarter of the year. Obviously, we heard earlier in the manager's report that the snowstorm overages were quite significant and are continuing to be more significant than we thought. So we are obviously having to continue to take a very hard look at the budget to actuals every single time we meet. And there will be unfortunate decisions that will have to be made probably as we move throughout the year about some of those discretionary items that we talked about in the budget approval process. Some of that stuff we may need to reel back because Mother Nature had other plans for us in Q1. So also the 2026 wage resolution, the solicitor has reviewed that. We will be reviewing some of his recommendations at the next committee meeting so that we can start to consider an update to that wage resolution that we discussed 3 meetings ago, I believe. I think that's what it was. And we also, at the most recent meeting, met with representative from Jordan Tax Service, and I think Mr. Marks wanted to make some comments about that as well.
I just want, just to let people know, we know it's tax season and things are ramping up. We took a lot of the feedback we've heard multiple years from the community to Jordan Tax, and hopefully we're, going to see some improvements there. In the meantime, if you're working through filing your earned income taxes or the real estate taxes or anything else that you have to go to Jordan for, right? The sewage, the garbage, etc. And you have issues and you'd like to reach out to them directly, they have contact information on their website. But I wanted to put it on the record too, just so in case folks look it up later. You can email custvc@jordantax.com, and that will go to their customer service department and the reps that we talked with, and hopefully get some eyes on it. So obviously you still bring concerns here, but if you wanted to reach directly out to them, that, that would help to kind of hit it in parallel. So that's all.
Thank you. Unless there's any questions, that'd be the end of my report.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Hove. Infrastructure and land use, Ms. Compitello.
Okay, mine is short. The Infrastructure and Land Use Committee has not met since the last council meeting. So we just have two kind of standing status reminders on here. The DCNR pool area improvement grant. We were awarded that just this year. This will be an end of season slide removal and replacement and other improvements we've been talking about for the past couple of months that this will be coming. So very excited to have some improvements coming to our pool area. And then the DCED $325,000 grant. This was a no match grant that we got last year. We've been talking about for quite some time for pedestrian and other related business district improvements. We've been through a number of different discussions about that, community survey, meetings at the Planning Commission. And there's been no further movement on that, just continued status update. The borough engineer obviously has a lot else on his plate right now, but this is one of those things will be coming, moving forward shortly. Borough engineer will be updating those final designs based on the survey feedback, mostly just minor tweaks that we've been discussing at the infrastructure committee in the past few months about just kind of overall long-term maintenance and making sure we're choosing things we can afford to maintain long-term. But no other updates from my committee.
Thank you, Ms. Compitello. Communication and Recreation, Ms. Bolenbacher.
Thank you. Some upcoming community events. Saturday, April 11th is our community cleanup, shredding and sustainability event. It starts at 8 a.m. Some of the things we're offering, we will have a shredded truck from 8 until 11 or until it's full, as well as a drug drop-off from 8 to 11 as well. Both of those are sponsored by Representatives Dan Deasy and Wayne Fontana. We will have dumpsters available to the community from 8 a.m. till 12 or until they're full as well. We will have a buy nothing, sell nothing market. You can drop off things that you would like to donate to the market at 8 a.m. and the shopping for the market will be 9 to 12. We will also have an upcycling upcycling make-off competition by Wabi Sabi. Entries are accepted between 8 and 8:45 with winners announced at 11:45. People who can compete in this are eco-conscious creativity, any kind of hobby you have that is creative. The only requirement is you have to use materials that are at least 75% secondhand. So anybody who's creative and eco-friendly can take part in that competition and there will be prizes awarded. There will also be community farm prepping and planning from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You can help prep and plan the thousands of pounds of food that we donate every year from our garden to the Crafton Ingram Food Pantry. So come get your hands dirty. Other upcoming events on Saturday, April 25th, we have our Arbor Day and Park cleanup. I will have more details on that at the next meeting. We also have our summer kickoff on Saturday, May 30th. Some features of that is the Felix Amendola Memorial Bocce dedication. The pool and mini golf will also be open, weather hopeful. And we will be offering some food trucks, probably pizza and Rita's, I think are what we have confirmed already, with maybe a few more coming. And then other future things coming up is our 4th of July celebration on Saturday, July 4th, Fall Fest on Saturday, September 26th. We will have our 21 and over Halloween night at mini golf. Dates and details to be determined on that one still, as well as our celebration of lights on Saturday, December 6th, and our holiday house tour on Sunday, December 7th. Ongoing events this year, mini golf will be back on Fridays and Saturdays from June through September, with a few extra special days, peppered in there, like the summer kickoff and the Halloween pop-up. We will also be bringing back yoga in the park Saturday mornings from June through September. The only exceptions are July 4th and Fall Fest, which is September 26th. We decided not to have yoga those mornings because too much will be going on in the parks on those days. Unless anybody has any questions on any of the events. There's a few more events coming up, but Mr. Oliveri will be talking about them later on, so I didn't want to be I didn't want to repeat, so. Next up, our newsletter. We are collecting articles at this time, and that is slated to be in your mailboxes early June. Unless anybody has any questions, that's it for my report. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Moldenbacher. Mission recruiting, Ms. Plakowski.
Thank you. We do have some current open positions available, so I'm gonna read through these. Zoning Hearing Board, a 3-year term, it's an alternate seat, is currently available. That would expire on December 31st of 2028. Recreation Board has 2 seats available. One expires February 28th, 2030, and the other is February 28th of 2029. So 2 seats on the Rec Board. Library Board has one 3-year term seat available that started on March 16th, so just like a week or so ago, 10 days. It expired. And the Planning Commission has a 4-year term that will be coming available on April 13th, 2026. We have started receiving applications for a variety of these, so that's wonderful to see. We've been setting up interviews. I always like to say, like, schedules are a little tricky sometimes, but we're doing our best to get all of those interviews set up. And just a little reminder on that interview process, the interview is led by the board or commission chairperson, and then myself and Kirsten sit in on those interviews. So a lot of the interview is led by the board chair, and Kirsten and I are essentially there to ask questions as they come up, or kind of answer any questions that the applicant might have. But that interview really is led by the chairperson. But thankful and appreciate those that have started applying for a variety of these positions, but please continue to do so. Upcoming positions, Civil Service Commission will be available starting in May 2026. Civil Service Commission, that was an alternate, and then we'll have a regular that starts at the beginning of July. And then we will have another recreation position in September. So recreation sure could use some bodies. So if you're interested in any of those, please apply.
Thank you, Ms. Plakowski. The COG, Mr. Wozniak.
I went to the COG meeting, and I put all the information on a OneDrive for everybody. It was at Green Tree this time, and at the COG meeting, one of the big issues at the COG meeting that was talked about was the fact that the Charter West COG, I guess you're allowed to have grant money available to you when you join the COG, and a lot of the other COGs have a waiting period before you can be eligible for that grant money. So there's some consideration to maybe putting in some sort of a waiting period, because people are bouncing in and out of the COG for grant money. So that was discussed, and then as usual, there's the round table that will be in the minutes whenever that comes about, and I'll put that on the OneDrive. So the next meeting is April 16th, and it's Neville Island at 6:30. I don't know an address until like the Friday before they tell us. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, let me know. If anybody wants me to take anything to the COG, please just give me a buzz, and I'll write your questions down and present them to the COG if you have anything. So that's it.
Any other questions for anybody? Did you graduate from LGA?
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say, I thought I saw something posted on Facebook, but not the graduation.
Yeah, we had graduation last night. It was real
It
nice.
was last night?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
last night. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. It was
Now you
nice.
know
It
what
was
to
a lot
do.
of fun. It was a lot of nice people. To meet, really a lot. Of
What
nice
was your
people.
class? How many?
We had 96 or something like that, they said, or I forget what was. Linda was there, but I forget. It was high. They said it was one of our highest classes
That is,
and stuff. And Joy made a point that there were more women than men there this time. So, she had a good time with that. So, but yeah, it was real nice. It was a great experience. A ton of good information, and they put it together really well. Yeah.
and it was in Green Tree, the celebration?
Green Tree was the celebration. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very close.
it was very nice. So
That's It is good. And the program starts in December and runs through March.
Right, they have both in person on Saturdays, and then once a week we had just video, or not video, but kind of online things that we had. So, but
Well, congratulations.
thanks.
You're official now. All right, upcoming events, community events. Our next council meeting is Thursday, April 9th at 7 o'clock. Employment opportunity, we're still looking for a substitute part-time crossing guard for Crafton Elementary. And you can apply on the Borough website. We also are recruiting for public works summer employment. So we had mentioned the pool, we just approved that, and now looking for public works. And I think it'll be 3 or 4 folks for that. And you can apply. The deadline is April 24th for those positions. Well, the fire department has their annual Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April 4th at 2 o'clock. The event begins at 2, or I don't know, that's on here twice. And it's for children ages 8 and younger. And you have to get there at 2. There will be no eggs at 2:03. That's, yes, in Crafton Park, yes. So, yeah, you 5 minutes, you get there early because they won't run and then they're gone. 2026 real estate tax bill payments. Jordan Tax will be in the Borough Building on April 21st from 9 to noon, and also April 30th from 1 to 4. And as a reminder, our 2% discounts are due by April 30th. They have to be in that office, so make sure to get them a little ahead of time. And also payments must be received, all payments, by June 30th. Birdtown Committee, we're still in the early stages of Birdtown. We'll probably have some type of presentation about our initiatives for that after our Shade Tree Commission meeting in early April. And if you do have an interest, you can email the chair, which is Nathan Henry, to get more involved. They did have a meeting last Saturday and are moving forward with that group. Sustainability Festival, Ms. Bolenbacher talked about that, the free market swap, the upcycling, and also the Earth and Arbor Day celebration. We're getting more of that, but that will commemorate Crafton's 37th year as a Tree City, USA. So lots of good stuff there. And we'll also be cleaning up the park and enjoying the community farm. Boy Scout Troop 148 is having their pancake breakfast on Sunday, this Sunday, March 29th at the Crafton Community Center, right down here from 8 to 12 noon. It's $10 for adults, 8 for seniors and vets, and 5 for children under 10. There's going to be baskets, auctions, and raffles, and see their Facebook page for more details. All right. Any other announcements? There's a lot. Okay, public comment. At this time, citizens may address the Crafton Borough Council on any issue. Only residents and taxpayers of the Borough of Crafton will be permitted to address the council. Speakers will be permitted to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Groups of people will be required to designate a spokesperson to represent them before the council, who may speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. Council has the option to respond or not at the end of the address. The solicitors are assigned timekeeper. Please state your name and physical address for the record. So for folks here, you just raise your hand, and then when we go online, you also raise your hand. So, Charlene?
I just have a quick question about the parks that you were talking about. Was there any discussion on putting bike racks in?
Anything else, or is that?
That's all I have. Question.
All right, thank you. Okay. So the question would be for the engineer. Larry's still with us?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any discussion? The question was, any discussion on bike racks being put at the parks?
If there were discussions about that, I would have included putting one in at each one, but I can't recall that being an item that was mentioned previously, but that doesn't mean we can't still include one. That's something we want to make a required improvement. I can go ahead and look that up and put that in. That's what we want to do.
It's interesting because I went to both parks myself, and kids were riding on bikes in the basketball area, and they didn't have any place to put their bike after they were done when they wanted to get on other stuff. So, how expensive are they very expensive or what is that?
I mean, it really depends on the type. There's many types of bike racks out there, but depends on how many bikes you want to include. But I would think, maybe Jim's a big bike advocate. Maybe he can chime in and help too. But I'm thinking maybe anywhere from a couple $100s to a grand or so per bike rack. What I'm thinking,
Yeah,
without
that's
putting anything up.
That's probably about right. And I would suggest that we take that rental charge for the toilet and make it a bike rack. So,
I agree.
Okay.
But Mike, didn't you do something? You did analysis on that for the
Yeah,
other grant,
It's very, right? It's wide.
wide range. Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think for the record, I would go for bike racks.
Yeah. Okay. All right. As we look at the final drawings, maybe we have something like that put in there. And as an option, maybe it's design 1 and 2 where the toilets or the restrooms might be an option to take out.
You got it.
Good. Sandy?
Sandy Morris, Bar Avenue. The Clearview Trail, first, thank you for resurfacing it. But curious of what type of material and are you guys gonna fix the drainage problem? So that's all.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, we will review that when we review the trail next month. But the goal is to make it the same as the city of Pittsburgh's, which is crushed limestone.
Drainage?
Drainage?
Yeah, I mentioned that. That's what I said first. We're going to look at that when we look at it next month.
Great, thank you. Ms. Wozniak?
My question was on the.
It's on that? Okay, great. Okay, anybody else here? All right, if you're online, you can raise your hand. Okay. All right, it is 8:38. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.